Today is the anniversary of the Affordable Care Act, the 13th anniversary, I believe. And President Biden did something that I think has been lacking for a very long time. He actually went ahead and campaigned to rural America. I mean, he's not going to win everything. He's not going to get all these votes. But for the sensible people that listen to this speech, they will say, I have a choice of who I will support because it will materially affect my life, because it's a matter of life and death. I want you to see how Biden started campaigning to rural America, something that every single Democrat should do. They won't win it all, but they will probably win enough to create the winning delta. Check this out.
MAGA Republicans in Congress are intent on repealing the Affordable Care Act when it's clear it would have a devastating impact on the American people. We still haven't seen the House Republican budget. They want to negotiate. I say, I've laid down my budget tonight. You lay down yours. Let's negotiate. I don't know where their budget is. No, I'm serious. There has been no budget. As my brother would say, go figure. But look, the budgets are going to show what they value. The former Trump director of budget advising the MAGA Republicans in Congress has a plan to slash $2 trillion from Medicaid. I guess that shows a little bit of their value set. He wants to end Medicare expansion under the Affordable Care Act and make additional deep cuts that could lead to nearly 70 million people losing critical services. 70 million people. Most of them are seniors, people with disabilities, and with children. And children, I should say. And some could lose their health care altogether. There are a number of other areas that are cutting Medicaid or repealing the Affordable Care Act would have a huge impact. You know, what people don't really understand, my Republican friends always talk about how they care about rural America. Well, guess what? Just take a look at rural Americans' hospitals, which lose funding they need to keep the doors open. That's one of the reasons why so many are closed. Already, rural residents have to travel twice as far to get to a hospital as folks who live in cities, which is partly why trauma patients in rural areas are twice as likely to die before they get to a hospital. And more would close. Not a joke, more would close. They couldn't stay open. If our Republican friends get their way, more rural hospitals will shut down and the problem will even get worse. So I don't want to hear about they value rural America. If they get their way, seniors and people with disabilities could lose access to home health care, and with it, the ability to stay in their homes, which, by the way, shows it extends life of the people. People would much rather stay, if they could, just with a little bit of help in their own homes, rather than go to a home. And it's less expensive. Medicaid also pays for nursing home care for about 2/3 of all Americans who live in nursing homes. Well, it'd be different if they were able to stay home. Medicaid and the quality of care in nursing homes goes down when that happens. Millions affected by the opioid epidemic would lose access to drug treatment. And for the millions of middle class and working class currently covered by the ACA marketplace, even if they manage to keep their insurance, it could cost them thousands more each year. That's just a glimpse at the damage repealing the Affordable Care Act would have on gutting Medicaid would do. But our value set is fundamentally different than our Republican friends. So we will never let that happen. We're also strengthening Medicare and Social Security. In fact, my budget will extend the life of Medicare Trust Fund beyond 2050. And meanwhile, MAGA Republicans in Congress, MAGA Republicans are threatening to gut and eliminate these programs. You may have seen our back and forth at the State of the Union, Vintage State of the Union. Never quite saw one like that before. And when the distinguished Congresswoman from the mountains of Georgia were saying, liar, liar, all of a sudden, and then others started, and I said, well, they said, we don't want to cut it. So I went through it all. You may remember my sentence. You're not going to cut Social Security, Medicare. Holler, stand up. Well, a lot of them stood up. Tell the press they're all on camera. All the ones that stood up. I sure hope it's true, but I'll believe it when I see it. You've paid into Social Security and Medicare from the first paycheck you ever earned, and I'm determined to protect it. Let me close with this. 13 years ago, thanks to the leadership of Barack Obama and some of his staff are in this room here to help get that passed. If I start to name them, it would take a long time, but I want to thank them. We made history when the Affordable Care Act became law. We changed America. We gave millions of people peace of mind. We did something else. We also took a giant step toward realizing the fundamental principle that we hold as Democrats and as Americans, that health care is a right, not a privilege. Well, we're not all the way there yet, but there's more to do. So let's finish the job. Let's protect lower prescription drug costs for everyone. Let's expand health care coverage for more people so they get care. Let's keep building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up. And let's remember who we are. We're the United States of America. Nothing is beyond our capacity when we do it together. So God bless you all, and let's keep fighting to get it done.
That is what I'm talking about. That is how you have to expand your base with the message. We've already said that most Americans, more than 60% of Americans, support real, true, progressive values. It is high time now that we cauterize that into the minds of people so that it would influence their vote. We're not asking them to change from being a Republican. We're not asking them from changing from being a swing voter. We're asking them in every election, vote your needs, vote your wants, vote your expectations.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.